Boxing never ceases to amaze me. Somehow, some way, it finds a way. Terence Crawford, despite having no fights at 160, despite having no fights at 168, he has been ranked at 168 as the number one. He has been installed there. In this video, I will break it down. Clearly, he's fighting Canelo, and they're trying to make it look natural. So that's what I want to break down in this video. I'm never surprised by boxing because boxing continues to do unexplainable stuff. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, subscribe, bell icon so you don't miss any of your boxing news. Now, a couple updates here. For one, Terence Crawford has officially lost his belt. Terence Crawford is no longer a champion. I repeat, awooga, awoo. Terence Crawford is no longer a champion. He was, when he beat Israel Madrimov at 154, the WBO champion, and he has since had to relinquish his belt. I like this move because I don't believe in holding belts hostage where like Crawford gets to take a year off, fight one time a year, get the Canelo fight despite having no fights in Canelo's division, and get ranked, which we'll talk about more in the back half of this video, and hold a belt hostage at 154. If you're gaining all this weight, are you really going to go back down to 154 late in your career? You know, for me, it's not seeming likely. So why hold the belt hostage? Whereas Boots is moving to 54. You got Virgil Ortiz. You got Boachuk. You got Jermell Charlo. You got Murtazaev. Fundora just looked great. You know, you got all these guys. Erickson Lubin at 54. Let them scrap for the belt if you're occupied with Canelo and you're fighting at super middleweight. So that's update number one. Notice in my videos, I jam-packed them with information, right? Not a bunch of clickbait and, you know, me doing videos where I'm stuttering and not getting to the content and stammering through it. I'm giving you guys all the information. So that's the first update. Crawford is no longer a champion at 54. He had to relinquish his title. But after doing that, the WBO has voted to make Terence Crawford the number one fighter at super middleweight, and that's ahead of his fight with Canelo Alvarez. Wow. They have a statement. It says, the committee unanimously allowed Terence Crawford to retain the interim title pending the finalization of the Canelo bout in deference to his extraordinary merits, historical accomplishments, and long-standing relationship with the WBO. So they're saying they have given due consideration, and despite all the other fighters at 168, Crawford's professional achievements and historical stature stand alone at the highest level of the sport. So Crawford being 2x undisputed, being undefeated, all of that, they're saying trumps anything else, and they have voted to make him the number one contender and essentially bypass every other fighter that fights at the division, you know, and make him the number one contender. Am I surprised? Absolutely not. Boxing is known for this. Does it make sense? Absolutely not. Like, listen, the bottom line is this is politics. Terence Crawford was already fighting Canelo. They literally had a press conference, pushed each other, did a face-off. He's in training camp. And then here comes the WBO after the fact, after the fight's already been finalized. And then they're trying to, I guess, bring more relevance to it by having him ranked. So imagine being a complete casual and you hear Canelo's fighting Crawford, right? Now it looks better if that casual person is like, man, let me do my research. Okay, Canelo has this belt, this belt, this belt, and then you try to like do reverse engineering. You go to look at the WBO rankings, and then now it's going to show Terence Crawford #1, like he's the #1 contender. It's, again, I'm not surprised, but it really doesn't make any sense, because if that's the case, then you can keep doing freak show fights, video game fights, and have people do whatever they want, and then your committee just pretty much votes on it, and you're like, oh, okay. So, for example, if Canelo was like, I want to fight Alexander Usyk at heavyweight, Canelo has done a lot for his career. He's done a lot for his country. He's been 2x undisputed. So the money is with Canelo. So basically, if Canelo won, we know Canelo wouldn't do this because he ain't trying to fight no dang Usyk. But he, at one point, he said he was interested in it. But Usyk has, since that point, beat much bigger people like Tyson Fury and Daniel Dubois. We know Canelo ain't going to do that. But I'm just giving you guys an example. The bottom line is Canelo's more accomplished than Terence Crawford overall. You know, his resume is better, and he's also been 2x undisputed, blah, blah, blah. It just wasn't in two different divisions, right? And basically, if Canelo said, yo, I want to fight Usyk, they would vote, and they would likely vote in favor of Canelo. And then Canelo could bypass all the heavyweights that have been putting in work and ready for the moment, all that good stuff. He would just trump all of them and get a Mario Brothers 3 warp whistle and go straight to the front of the line. And despite the heavyweights actually fighting heavyweight, he would get that placement. That's what I believe, right? Because, again, Terence Crawford has no fights at 168, no fights at even 160. And you're basically saying because he's a great fighter and he's done what he's done to this point of his career, Gamboa fight, Errol Spence, yada, 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 in these past divisions, that's enough to rank him above actual super middleweight, which, again, is politics. So I'm not mad. Like, it's not surprising to me. So it's not surprising enough for me to get mad at this. You know, some people would be like, oh man, ego, the Bud Buddies. They're going to be like, oh man, ego, you hating on my boy Crawford. I'm not hating. I expect stuff like this in situations like this. The fight's been announced. Turkey probably paid the WBO or something. And politics is why this is happening. Point blank, period. But it still doesn't change the public perception for most diehard boxing fans. Crawford's still the smaller man, having to bulk up, pretty much move up 3 weight classes. You could say 2, but for me, it's 3 because you ain't done nothing at 154. You have one fight at 154 against a months-old champion in Madrimov. It's funny because I can't speak for no other YouTuber. I can only speak for me. But YouTubers get a bad rap. Like, oh, you YouTubers suck. You YouTubers don't know boxing. All right, let's go tit for tat. I'll tell you what you need to know. You know, and the reality is Madrimov had been a champion for a few months before he fought Crawford. Look it up. You don't have to take my word for it. And he fought for a vacant title. So, again, these are the politics in boxing. Crawford beats him, and then now he's a champion in a new division. It looks good, you know, but at the same time, Madrimov, let's stop acting like he was this storied, accomplished, long-standing champion. That is the biggest difference between nowadays and like the greatness of yesteryear. Like the guys who were actually champions when Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali were fighting, they weren't just passing them out like candy. You know what I mean? Whereas like 14 belts, secondary belts, super regular, you know, you're in good with this promoter, so they're going to give you a title opportunity. These title opportunities didn't come so like willingly, you know what I mean? It didn't come so like easily, I guess you could say. But now it is what it is. So I'm not surprised by it. It doesn't change the fight to me. I still feel what I felt about the fight. It just, I guess it looks better now that Crawford is, for a casual, it looks better that Crawford is now ranked within the organization at number 1. And to be honest, it's rather sad. It's kind of sad that boxing gets down like this, because it's no disrespect to Terence Crawford. It's just you haven't fought at the weight class. Meanwhile, Diego Pacheco just had a win with Macumbi, right? He beat Terence Crawford's boy, Steve Nelson. He's undefeated. You got Hamza Shiraz, who's rated number 2. He gets bumped out of the number 1 spot, rated number 2, and he just had a great win. His first fight at 168, vicious knockout over Edgar Berlanga. But then Crawford, who doesn't have to do anything at 168 or 160 and only has to have one fight at 54, he gets ranked over these types of guys, right? And everybody else. So again, it's kind of sad that boxing works like this, where you could be working hard, but politics get in the way, and Canelo picks a Jermell Charlo, a Crawford, instead of David Benavidez at the time, who was at 168, or anybody else who's like a rightful person. Or you've been busting your butt and having strong super middleweight performances, and then a guy like Crawford does great things in lower weight classes, no fights at 160 or 168, and only one at 154, and he could just move up, and then the committee votes, and he bypasses you, and then you get installed as number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, while Crawford, who's done nothing at that weight class, he's already gets the Canelo fight, but he also gets the ranking over you. Weird. We unpack